My name is Sarah Lane. I am 26 years old. On our anniversary night, my father-in-law kept insulting me again and again, saying I was useless, that I had no background, and that I had ruined his son's future. My husband stood there and said nothing. When I finally spoke back, he slapped me in front of 60 guests. Everyone started laughing. I wiped my tears and made one phone call. "Dad, please come." And when they finally saw who my dad was, they all went completely pale. Before I tell you what actually happened, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel and tell me your country in the comments. Now, let's begin. The hall was glowing with soft lights, music filling the air as people laughed, talked, and enjoyed themselves. It looked perfect, and for the first time in a long time, I was smiling too. I stood there with a glass in my hand, looking around at everyone. My husband, Ethan, was talking to guests, smiling like everything was fine, while my in-laws welcomed people warmly. There was no tension, no cold looks, no whispers, and for a moment I truly believed it. Maybe they had finally accepted me. And that thought alone made my chest feel lighter, because it hadn't always been like this. Not even close. I met Ethan 2 years ago at the office. It was nothing special, just another normal day. I was new, quiet, focused on my work, while he was the complete opposite. Confident, easy to talk to, always surrounded by people. One day, he walked up to my desk, smiled, and asked something simple. But that one moment changed everything. We started talking more after that. Small conversations at first, then longer ones. Coffee breaks, lunches together, late evenings finishing work. With him, everything felt easy. There was no pressure, no expectations, and for the first time, I felt like someone truly saw me. Not anything else, just me. Maybe that's why I made that decision. One evening, while we were sitting together, he asked about my family. I paused for a second, then said, "I don't really have anyone. My parents are gone. I've been on my own for years." The words came out easily, not because they were true, but because I wanted something real. I didn't want him to look at me differently. I didn't want him to see anything else. I just wanted him to choose me for me. And he did. He didn't question it or doubt me. Instead, his eyes softened. And from that day on, he cared for me even more. He became everything I had ever hoped for. Kind, supportive, understanding, the kind of man you believe you can spend your life with. And when he asked me to marry him, I said yes without hesitation. But our marriage wasn't easy. From the very beginning, his family was against it. They had different plans. They wanted him to marry into a wealthy family, someone with status, connections, and power, and to them, I was none of that. At first, they stayed quiet, just looks, cold silence, and an unwelcoming presence. But after the wedding, everything changed. It started small. Little jokes, comments that sounded harmless but weren't. "You didn't bring much, did you?" Simple girl, simple background. I smiled through it, ignored it, telling myself it would pass, that with time they would accept me. But time didn't fix anything. It made things worse. His father was the worst of all. He didn't even try to hide it. "You ruined my son's life. You brought nothing into this house. You're useless." Those words never stopped, day after day. And the most painful part was that Ethan did nothing. At first, he stayed quiet. He didn't defend me, but he didn't agree either. And I held on to that. I told myself maybe he just didn't want conflict. Maybe one day he would stand up for me. But slowly he changed. He started laughing at their jokes, ignoring my silence, and sometimes even agreeing with them. "Maybe they're right," he once said casually. That moment broke something inside me. Still, I stayed because I loved him, because I believed that one day things would be different. And when he told me about the anniversary party, something inside me lit up again. A big celebration, so many guests, everything perfectly arranged. For the first time in months, he looked excited. My in-laws, too. They spoke to me normally, smiled at me, included me, and I believed it. Standing there that night, watching everyone treat me like I belonged, I thought maybe this was it. Maybe everything I had waited for was finally happening. But deep inside, there was a feeling, small, quiet, but real, like something wasn't right. I looked at Ethan again. He smiled at me, but something about it felt different, and then his father stood up. He picked up a glass, and the room slowly went silent. All eyes turned toward him, and my heart started beating faster. I didn't know why, but in that moment, that feeling inside me grew stronger. Something was wrong, and I had no idea what was about to happen next. My father-in-law raised his glass, a slow smile spreading across his face. "At last," he said loudly, 1 year of this marriage. A few people chuckled, and I forced a small smile as he continued. This night is very special for our family. I glanced at Ethan, but he didn't look at me. Instead, he was watching his father, almost waiting. That uneasy feeling inside me grew stronger. My father-in-law turned toward me, his eyes locking onto mine. And also, he said, a perfect moment to speak the truth. The room went completely silent. My grip tightened around the glass. What truth? I asked softly. He laughed. A truth everyone here deserves to know. My heart started beating faster. Then he said it. My son made the biggest mistake of his life. A few gasps, some whispers, and that mistake, he pointed at me, is standing right here. The words hit me like a slap. Murmurs spread through the crowd as I looked at Ethan, waiting, hoping, but he said nothing. My chest tightened. I accepted her, his father continued, thinking maybe she would bring something into our lives. He paused, looking me up and down. But she brought nothing. Soft laughter began, then grew louder. She has no family, he added. No background, no value. Each word cut deeper. And my son, he sighed, wasted his future on her. I couldn't stay silent anymore. That's enough, I said quietly, stepping forward. You don't have the right to speak about me like that. My voice wasn't loud, but it was steady. For a second, everything froze. Then a sharp sound echoed through the hall. Slap. My head turned to the side as silence fell again. Slowly, I looked back. Ethan stood in front of me, his hand still raised, his eyes cold. Don't you dare, he said. My breath caught. I won't let you disrespect my father, he added. My heart dropped. This wasn't the man I fell in love with. I'm done with this, he continued. I can't live like this anymore. I deserve better. Better, the same word his family always used. And just like that, everything became clear. The smiles, the warmth, the sudden kindness, none of it was real. This entire night wasn't a celebration. It was a setup, a plan to humiliate me in front of everyone. Laughter slowly filled the room again. People whispering, watching, enjoying it like it was entertainment. My ears rang, my face burned, but I didn't cry, not there, not in front of them. I stood still for a moment, breathing slowly, then lifted my hand and wiped the tear that slipped down. Came to calm. Because something inside me had changed. 1 year of silence, 1 year of patience, 1 year of hoping ended in that moment. I reached for my phone. My hands were steady now. No shaking, no hesitation. I dialed one number. It rang once, twice, then he picked up. I closed my eyes for a second. Dad, I said softly. There was a brief pause. Then his voice came through, calm, familiar. What happened? I opened my eyes and looked around at the people still laughing. At the man who had just slapped me, and I said only one thing. Please come. Silence. I'll be there, he replied. The call ended. I lowered the phone slowly. My father-in-law laughed again. Calling someone? He mocked. Who, exactly? You said you had no one. More laughter followed. I said nothing. I just stood there, waiting. Minutes passed, and the room slowly returned to noise, music, voices, laughter, as if nothing had happened. But I didn't move. I stayed exactly where I was. Calm, quiet, watching, and somewhere deep inside, I knew this wasn't over. Not even close, because in just a little while, everything they believed was about to shatter. Minutes passed. Then the doors opened. This time, the sound cut through everything. One by one, people turned. The laughter faded. The music felt distant. A man walked in, not fast, not slow, but with a presence that made the entire room shift. He wasn't smiling. His eyes were already searching for me, and the moment he saw me, he walked straight forward, no hesitation, no distractions. When he stopped in front of me, my chest tightened. Dad, I said softly, but the room heard it. Complete silence. My husband froze. No, he whispered, stepping back. That's not possible. My father-in-law laughed. Why are you acting like that? He said. Who is he? My husband's lips trembled. He stuttered. He's the owner of Lane & Co. A ripple went through the room. The largest clothing brand, he continued. The company where I work, gasps, whispers. My father-in-law's face changed instantly. The confidence was gone. My husband looked between us. Sir, his voice shook. Why is she calling you Dad? A pause, heavy, uncomfortable. Then my father spoke. Because, his voice was low, controlled. She is my daughter. The room exploded with shock and disbelief. My father didn't look at them. His eyes were on me. Slowly, they moved across my face, and then they stopped on my cheek, the red mark. Everything changed. His jaw tightened. His hands clenched. For a second, it looked like he might lose control. Who did this? He asked. This time, his voice wasn't just calm. It was dangerous. Silence. No one answered, no one dared to. My father-in-law tried to speak. This is just a misunderstanding. Stop. One word, and he went silent. My father's gaze slowly shifted to them, cold, sharp. And the company you're talking about, he said, is in her name. Dead silence. My husband's face turned completely pale. But she never told me, he whispered. She didn't, my father replied, because she wanted you to choose her. A pause. Not her money. Each word hit harder. She even asked me, he continued, to pretend I wasn't her father. My husband looked at me now. His eyes weren't angry. They were breaking. I didn't know, he said quickly. I swear I didn't know. Exactly, my father said. You didn't know. Then he stepped closer. And I told her, he added, his voice lower now, this man is not right for you. My breath caught. I told her, he continued, one day he will show his real face. Silence. My eyes filled with tears. Dad, I whispered. I understand now. Not from pain, but from truth. My father turned back to them, his expression completely cold now. What you did today, he said slowly. You will answer for it. The room felt suffocating. He looked directly at my husband. Tomorrow, he said, I want your resignation on my desk. A pause, and the divorce papers will follow. My husband stepped forward in a panic. Please wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Please don't. His voice broke, but I raised my hand slightly, stopping him. No, I said calmly, my voice steady. You showed me exactly who you are. Silence. I gave you a year. My eyes moved across the room. A whole year to see me for who I am. No one moved, and you failed. I picked up my bag slowly. My father stood beside me, strong, unshaken. I looked at my husband one last time. The same man who slapped me tonight. I paused. He would have never touched me if he had known who I really was. His eyes dropped, because he knew it was true. I turned away and started walking, step by step. The room stayed silent. No laughter, no whispers, only regret. And just before I reached the door, I stopped, without turning back. You didn't lose me tonight, I said. A pause. You lost the only person who truly chose you. And then I walked out without looking back, because this time I wasn't broken. I was done.